I have seen many things in my years. The world has changed. People have changed. But one thing remains the same. The body does not lie. It tells the truth louder with each passing year. When you are young, you can ignore it. You can push through the exhaustion, eat what you want, stay up late, and still feel invincible. But when you cross 70, every little thing matters. I learned this the hard way. For years, I had a habit. A small thing, or so I thought. Something I did before bed without giving it much thought. It seemed harmless, even normal. But it was stealing my rest. It was making my nights restless and my days foggy. It made my legs ache, my heart race, and my mind feel like it was moving through mud. I told myself it was just old age. That this was how it was supposed to be. But I was wrong. I remember the night I realized it. I had spent the evening like I always did. I followed my usual routine. Then I got into bed. The moment I lay down, something felt off. My chest felt heavy. My mind refused to settle. I tossed. I turned. Minutes stretched into hours. Frustration boiled inside me. My body wanted sleep. It begged for rest. But something was keeping me awake. I sat up. The room was dark. Silent. My wife lay beside me, breathing peacefully. I envied her. What was I doing wrong? That night, I got out of bed. I went to the kitchen. I poured myself a glass of water. And then I stood there, thinking. I traced my steps back through the evening. I thought about everything I had done. Every choice I had made. And then it hit me. This one thing. This one habit. It was small. But it was ruining my nights. And it had been for years. I wish I had known sooner. I wish someone had told me. Because when I finally changed this habit, my nights transformed. My mornings became lighter. My body felt stronger. My mind felt sharper. And I want that for you too. I do not want you to spend another night staring at the ceiling. Another morning feeling drained before the day even begins. Because life is too short for that. You see, the problem is, we do things without questioning them. We hold on to routines because they are familiar. Because they feel comforting. But not everything that feels good is good for us. And when you get to this age, the margin for error gets smaller. The body does not bounce back like it used to. Every choice we make carries weight. Especially at night. I have spoken to friends about this. Some of them shrugged it off. Some of them laughed. But the ones who listened, the ones who changed this habit, they came back to me weeks later with a look in their eyes I recognized. A look of relief. They told me they were sleeping better, feeling better, living better. I know what you are thinking. You want to know what it is. What is this habit? What should you stop doing before bed? I will tell you. But I want you to listen. Really listen. Because it is not just about knowing. It is about changing. It is about making a choice tonight that will give you better tomorrows. Stop eating late at night. Stop snacking before bed. Stop filling your stomach when your body is trying to wind down. I know. It sounds simple. It sounds too easy. But do not underestimate the damage it does. I did for years. And I paid for it in sleepless nights and sluggish days. The body is not the same at 70 as it was at 30 or 40. The metabolism slows. The digestion takes longer. The body needs time to process food. When you eat late, you force your body to keep working when it should be resting. Your stomach stays active. Your heart rate stays elevated. Your blood sugar fluctuates. Your body fights to digest when it should be healing. And that fight steals your sleep. I used to have a small snack before bed. Sometimes a piece of bread. Sometimes a handful of nuts. I told myself it was harmless. But my body disagreed. Every time, my sleep suffered. I did not realize it then. I do now. The nights I stopped eating early. The nights I let my stomach rest. Those were the nights I slept deeply. Peacefully. Think about it. Have you ever felt your heart beating faster at night for no reason? Have you ever woken up feeling hot, uncomfortable, restless? Have you ever struggled to fall asleep even though you were exhausted? It is not just old age. It is not just bad luck. It is your body trying to tell you something. I tested it. I made a rule. No food after early evening. No late night snacks. No small bites before bed. And the results were undeniable. My sleep improved. My energy returned. My mind felt clearer. My body felt lighter. The change was real. And it did not take weeks or months. It happened almost immediately. I am not saying you should starve yourself. I am saying give your body time to rest. Eat earlier. Let your digestion finish before you lie down. Give your stomach a break so your body can do what it is meant to do at night. Heal. Restore. Recharge. This is not something I read in a book. It is not something a doctor told me. It is something I lived. Something I experienced. And something I wish I had known sooner. Because when I finally stopped doing it, my nights changed. My days changed. My life changed. And I want that for you. I want you to sleep deeply. To wake up refreshed. To feel alive again. Because 70 is not the end. It is not a time to suffer through restless nights and tired mornings. It is a time to enjoy the days we have left. And that starts with the choices we make before bed. So tonight, try it. Give your body the rest it deserves. Stop eating before bed. Let your stomach be empty when you lie down. See how you feel. See what happens. And if you are like me, if you are like the friends who listened, you will feel the difference. And you will never go back. Now, let's clear some common questions. What are the psychological and emotional effects of poor sleep that many older adults may not even realize? I have lived long enough to know that sleep is not just rest. It is not just a routine or a way to pass the night. Sleep is survival. It is the foundation of everything. I did not always see it that way. In my younger years, I could sleep when I wanted, wake up when I had to, and keep going no matter how little rest I got. I could afford to be reckless. My body could bounce back. But time changes everything. Now, sleep is no longer something I can take for granted. And when I do not get enough of it, my body is not the only thing that suffers. My mind suffers. My emotions suffer. My entire sense of self begins to unravel in ways that are hard to explain until you have lived through it. It took me years to realize that poor sleep does not just make you tired. It changes you. It alters the way you think, the way you feel, the way you see the world. At first, it is subtle. You wake up feeling a little off, a little slower, a little more irritable. You blame it on a bad night. But then it happens again. And again. And before you know it, you are not yourself anymore. Your thoughts become cloudy. Your patience wears thin. The world feels heavier, colder, harder. You forget things more often. You struggle to find the right words. Conversations that used to flow naturally now take effort. You walk into a room and forget why you are there. You search for something that was just in your hands and wonder if your mind is starting to slip away from you. The worst part is that it does not just stay in your head. It seeps into your emotions. It changes the way you react to life. Little things that never used to bother you suddenly feel unbearable. A simple question from a loved one feels like an intrusion. A small inconvenience feels like a disaster. You snap at people without meaning to. And then you feel guilty. You wonder why you are so easily frustrated. Why everything seems so overwhelming. You tell yourself to shake it off, to pull yourself together. But the truth is, it is not you. It is the exhaustion speaking through you. I have been there. I have felt it. The creeping sadness that comes when sleep is scarce. The loss of joy in things that used to bring comfort. The slow erosion of enthusiasm. It is not a dramatic collapse. It is a quiet unraveling. One day you wake up and realize that the world does not look the same. It is not just the body that is tired. It is the soul. And that is what makes it so dangerous. I used to think that emotions were separate from sleep. That if I was feeling down or anxious, it had nothing to do with the hours I spent in bed. But I was wrong. Poor sleep is a thief. It steals happiness, clarity, and peace of mind. It fills the empty spaces with worry, doubt, and frustration. It makes problems seem bigger. Fears seem sharper. Loneliness feel deeper. And the worst part is, it convinces you that this is just how life is now. That this is just part of getting older. But it is not. When sleep suffers, so does resilience. The ability to handle stress, to bounce back from challenges, to find hope in hard times. It all weakens. A restless night turns into a restless mind. Thoughts loop endlessly. Worries grow in the dark. Regrets surface when the world is quiet. And when the morning comes, those feelings do not disappear. They stay. They linger. They weigh you down before the day has even begun. And then there is the loneliness. The kind that does not come from being alone, but from feeling disconnected. Poor sleep does that too. It makes you withdraw. It makes you less willing to reach out, to engage, to connect. Social interactions feel draining. Conversations feel forced. The people you love start to feel like strangers, not because they have changed, but because you have. The exhaustion builds a wall between you and the world, and after a while, it becomes easier to stay behind it. I have seen this happen not just to myself, but to others. Friends who once laughed easily now seem distant. Loved ones who were once full of life now move through the days as if they are carrying a weight no one else can see. And the common thread is always the same. Poor sleep. It is not just about feeling tired. It is about losing the spark, the connection, the energy that makes life worth living. But here is the thing. It does not have to be this way. I have also seen what happens when sleep is restored. When the mind gets the rest it needs. The difference is like night and day. Thoughts become clearer. Moods become lighter. Patience returns. The world looks softer, kinder. Conversations become easier. Laughter comes naturally again. The burden lifts. I know that sleep is not always easy. I know that for many, it feels like a battle. But it is a battle worth fighting. Because the alternative is not just a few bad nights. It is a slow and steady decline into a version of yourself that you do not recognize. A version of yourself that is trapped in exhaustion, frustration, and sadness. And I refuse to accept that. So if you are reading this and you feel like you have been carrying a weight you cannot explain, if you feel like the world has lost its color, if you feel more impatient, more anxious, more disconnected than you used to, ask yourself this. When was the last time you truly rested? Not just closed your eyes. Not just lay in bed. But truly, deeply rested? Because that might be the answer you have been searching for. And if it is, then tonight is the night to start changing it. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Tonight. Because life is too short to spend it feeling like a stranger to yourself. How can changing just one nighttime habit transform both physical and mental well-being in a matter of days? I have learned in my many years that change does not always come in great, sweeping moments. Sometimes, it comes in the smallest of choices. The kind of choices that seem so simple, so insignificant, that you barely notice them at all. But those choices add up. They shape the days, the years, the life we live. And when you reach a certain age, you begin to see just how much even one small habit can make all the difference. I did not always believe that. I used to think that transformation required something drastic. That to feel better, to be stronger, to have more energy, I had to change everything. I had to overhaul my entire routine. But I was wrong. Because I discovered that changing just one nighttime habit transformed my life in ways I never imagined. And it happened in a matter of days. For years, I had a habit. A simple one. Something I did without much thought. It was part of my routine, something I had done for as long as I could remember. And I never questioned it. That is the way habits work. They become so ingrained in our lives that we stop noticing them. But my body noticed. My mind noticed. My energy, my mood, my entire sense of well-being was being shaped by this habit, and I had no idea. Every night, I would go through the motions. I would settle into my routine, follow the same pattern, and then wonder why I felt the way I did. Wonder why my sleep was restless. Wonder why I woke up feeling drained before the day had even begun. Wonder why my thoughts felt foggy, my patience thin, my motivation slipping away. I blamed it on aging. I told myself this was just the way things were now. That my body was slowing down, that my mind was not as sharp as it used to be, that life simply felt heavier with time. But deep down, I knew something was off. I knew this was not just age. This was something else. Something I was doing. Something I could change. So I started paying attention. I began watching myself as if I were a stranger. I asked myself hard questions. What am I doing every night? What am I putting into my body? What patterns have I fallen into without even realizing it? And that is when I saw it. This one habit. This one thing I had been doing for years. It was small. But it was holding me back. I stopped doing it. Just like that. I made a decision one night to change it. And the difference was immediate. The very first morning, I felt lighter. My mind felt clearer. My body felt stronger. My patience returned. The weight I had been carrying, the exhaustion, the frustration, the quiet sadness that had settled into my days, all of it began to lift. And I realized something. I had been making life harder for myself without even knowing it. I had been sabotaging my own well-being, not through some great mistake, but through one tiny, unexamined habit. I have seen people spend years searching for solutions. They try new diets. They take supplements. They seek out doctors. They tell themselves that life will never feel good again. That this is just how things are now. But they never stop to question the little things. The patterns they have followed for decades. The things they do before bed without thinking. And that is where the answer often lies. Not in some complicated treatment. Not in some grand transformation. But in a single, simple change. I tell you this because I want you to see what is possible. I want you to know that you do not have to accept exhaustion as a way of life. You do not have to wake up feeling like you have already lost the day before it has even begun. You do not have to watch yourself fade into a version of yourself that you do not recognize. You can change. And it does not take months. It does not take years. It takes a decision. One choice. One shift in your nighttime routine. That is all it takes to begin feeling better. When I made that change, I felt it in every part of my life. My sleep became deeper. My dreams more peaceful. My body felt more alive. I woke up with energy I thought I had lost forever. My mind became sharper. Conversations felt easier. I no longer searched for words, no longer felt like my thoughts were slipping through my fingers. My emotions balanced. I was no longer snapping at the people I loved. No longer feeling like every little thing was too much to handle. And the best part? I felt like myself again. Not some older, slower version of myself. Not a man watching his best days fade into the past. But me. Fully awake. Fully alive. I share this with you because I know what it is like to feel stuck. To believe that feeling tired, feeling off, feeling lost is just the way things are now. But it is not. You have more power than you think. More control over your own well-being than you realize. And if you take a moment to look at your own nighttime habits, to question the things you do without thinking, to make just one small change, you will see it for yourself. I cannot tell you what that change is for you. I can only tell you what it was for me. But I do know this. If you are waking up tired, if you are feeling like life is heavier than it used to be, if you are struggling in ways you cannot quite explain, the answer is there. Hidden in your routine. In the choices you make before you close your eyes. Find it. Change it. And watch what happens. Because I promise you, it will not take long. In a matter of days, you will feel the difference. And once you do, you will wonder why you waited so long. What small, easy adjustments can be made to a bedtime routine to ensure the body and mind wake up feeling truly refreshed? I have spent many nights lying awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering why sleep did not come as easily as it once did. In my younger days, I could fall asleep anywhere. A chair. A couch. Even sitting upright after a long day. But as the years passed, sleep became a delicate thing. A puzzle that I could not quite solve. I would wake up tired, sluggish, and frustrated, no matter how many hours I spent in bed. I told myself it was just part of getting older. That my body was simply not what it used to be. But I was wrong. Because when I started making small, easy adjustments to my bedtime routine, everything changed. At first, I did not think much of it. I made one small change, then another. Nothing drastic. Nothing difficult. Just tiny shifts in the way I ended my day. And then, one morning, I woke up feeling different. Clearer. Lighter. More rested than I had in years. It was like I had found a part of myself that had been missing for so long that I had forgotten what it felt like to be truly refreshed. And the best part? It did not require some complicated system. It did not take months of effort. It was simple. One of the first things I did was pay attention to light. I used to keep the television on late into the night. Sometimes I would scroll through my phone. Other times I would sit under bright lights, thinking it did not matter. But I learned that light tells the body what time it is. It signals whether we should be awake or winding down. And when we flood our eyes with artificial light at night, our bodies get confused. They do not release the signals for sleep. They stay alert, even when we feel tired. So I made a small change. I dimmed the lights in the evening. I turned off the television earlier. I let the world grow quieter and darker as bedtime approached. And within days, I noticed a difference. My body responded. Sleep came easier. My nights felt more natural. Another small adjustment that made a big difference was how I ended my evenings. I used to go straight from activity to bed. One moment I was busy, the next I was under the covers, expecting my mind to shut off like a switch. But it does not work that way. The body needs a transition. A signal that says the day is done, and it is time to rest. So I created a ritual. A slow, intentional winding down. I sat quietly. I read a few pages of a book. I stretched gently, letting my muscles relax from the day. I gave my mind a chance to settle. And in doing so, I found that sleep no longer felt like a battle. It came naturally, like an old friend returning home. There was also the matter of food. For years, I would eat late at night, telling myself it did not make a difference. A small snack. A bite of something sweet. But I never considered what it was doing to my sleep. The body is not meant to digest while it rests. When we eat too close to bedtime, we keep our systems working long after they should be slowing down. And that work disrupts everything. The heart beats faster. The stomach churns. The body stays busy when it should be healing. So I made another small change. I stopped eating earlier. I gave my body time to finish its work before I lay down. And the difference was undeniable. My sleep deepened. My mornings felt lighter. One of the most powerful adjustments I made had nothing to do with my body and everything to do with my mind. I used to go to bed carrying the weight of the day. Worries. Regrets. Unfinished thoughts. I would lie there, running over conversations, replaying mistakes, thinking about everything I needed to do. And it stole my sleep from me. So I tried something new. Before bed, I sat down and wrote out my thoughts. Not a long journal. Not a deep reflection. Just a few words about the day. What went well? What I was grateful for? What could wait until tomorrow? And something happened that I did not expect. My mind let go. It stopped grasping at worries. It stopped holding on to things that did not need to follow me into sleep. And for the first time in years, I felt like I was laying down with a quiet mind. There were other small adjustments. A comfortable room. A cooler temperature. A consistent bedtime, even when I did not feel tired. None of them were difficult. None of them required effort beyond simple awareness. But together, they changed everything. I did not just sleep better. I woke up better. My thoughts were clearer. My patience was stronger. My body felt lighter. My energy lasted through the day. It was as if I had turned back the clock, not through some miracle, but through simple choices that honored what my body and mind truly needed. I know what it feels like to believe that sleep is just something that happens or does not. That some nights are good, and some are bad, and that is just how it is. But I also know that is not the whole truth. Because I have seen what happens when small adjustments are made. I have felt the difference. And if you are reading this, if you are waking up tired, if you are wondering why rest does not feel as restoring as it once did, I urge you to look at the little things. The habits you do not question. The routines you follow without thinking. Because hidden within them is the key to better sleep. You do not have to change everything at once. You do not have to force sleep to come. You simply have to create the right conditions for it to arrive naturally. And when you do, you will know. You will wake up one morning and feel it. The difference. The lightness. The clarity. And you will wonder why you ever accepted anything less. Because life is not meant to be spent in a fog of exhaustion. It is meant to be lived fully awake. And it all begins with how you end your day. If you liked today's discussion, don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with every video we release. And yes, don't forget to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. Every comment is special to us. Your feedback helps us improve further. We'll continue to meet you in every new video on this channel, so until next time, take care.